what happened at Nimrud? That's a horrific story. This was an ancient site that had beautiful stone sculptures that had been on display for many, many years.
The Nimrud site was one of many in and around Mosul that was occupied and then publicly destroyed by ISIS.
The project is a Nimrud Rescue Project, and we're working with Iraqi colleagues at the Iraqi Institute for the Conservation of Antiquities and Heritage, who are responsible for picking up the pieces at Nimrud. The role of the Smithsonian and the Museum Conservation Institute is to work with the Nimrud Rescue Project through the Iraqi Institute to help the Iraqis recover their own cultural heritage.
في مطلع عام 2017 تسلمت منظمة سمسونيان الاتفاقية بعقد اتفاقية مع الجانب العراقي المتمثل بالهيئة العامة للآثار والتراث على تبني مشروع إنقاذ النمرود. وكان هذه الاتفاقية تمخضت عن تشكيل فريق عن طريق تدريب كادر من الآثاريين في دائرة الآثار في موصل، وتم تشكيل هذا الفريق على مستوى عالي وتلقيه التدريب الكامل والمهارات والتقنيات حول كيفية إنقاذ موقع النمرود وعملية انتشال القطعة الأثرية من داخل الموقع المتفجر والمحطم.
The Nimrud Rescue Project is somewhat unique in that the skills that we're building with the team are direct technical skills. How you pick up a piece of something that's been damaged, how you document that, and how you store that. But beyond that, we're also building problem-solving skills. Looking at the site of Nimrud, there has never been damage of a site like this anywhere.
كثير من المواقع الأثرية موجودة وهي ذات أهمية كبيرة، لكن نمرود تتميز بأهمية أكبر كون في السنوات الماضية عندما كان هنالك أعمال التنقيب والعثور على كنز نمرود الذي أصبح ذات صيت وسمعة عالمية ومن المكتشفات العالمية التي ظهرت من حيث كنوزها. وعندما يقوم داعش بتدمير هذا الموقع فكونها مهمة جدا، لذلك لا بد علينا استرجاع هذا الموقع وصيانته وتأهيلها لكي يكون حاضرا لمن يريد أن يزور الموقع.
So this project's been going on for about 18 months, and we already have the storage facility built. The crew is ready to go out and begin picking up the pieces. We have just a few more days of practice here this time, and then they're going to go out and start actually recovering the pieces, getting them in storage and covering everything up, so we know that things will be safe for years until all of the work can be finished.
التراث بشكل عام هو حصيلة إرث حضاري ليس فقط في داخل البلد الذي يحتويه، وإنما هو حضارة تمثل كل البشر اللي يعيشون في مختلف البلدان، وأن هذا الإرث الحضاري مهم جدا لما يحتويه فجر التاريخ اللي تمخض عن تدوين التاريخ منذ الألف الثالث قبل الميلاد. فلا بد وأن الاهتمام ليس فقط علينا كآثاريين أو على البلد الذي يحتوي هذه الحضارة، بقدر ما يكون الاهتمام كامل من جميع البلدان.
So when we lose these kinds of cultural heritage, we lose something of our understanding of each other. We lose something that tells us how all of us are similar across the world. Having cultural heritage like this preserved, it's different ways of understanding how we as people across the world all have a lot in common.
So a key piece of every project that is run at the Iraqi Institute, be it by the Smithsonian or other partners, is this idea of skills development for our Iraqi heritage colleagues that is done in a sustainable way. But this needs to be something that can be built upon in the future. So we're not teaching just one specific skill set that can't be changed or adapted over time. And so we're looking at this with an eye towards sustainability of the Institute and of the role that the Institute will continue to play in Iraq in educating heritage specialists into the future.
We're not just an international mission coming in for a week or two to bestow some short-term positive press on something. We're here for the long term to make sure that the Iraqis have everything they need to do the project and to continue things on in the future. So the Smithsonian's well placed to do this work because it's a very international institution with cultural heritage and scientific knowledge at its core. Conservation has both those things. It's using scientific knowledge to conserve, to save cultural heritage. It's combining this knowledge of both the cultural heritage and the science and modern understanding of deterioration so that things are kept safe.
While many people think the Smithsonian maybe primarily as a museum complex, it is in fact the largest research complex in the world. And so we can bring expertise in object conservation, art conservation, architectural conservation, archaeological site management, and anything else to bear in Iraq and focus on these complex, multifaceted challenges like the Nimrud project. So having the ability to pull from different parts of the Smithsonian and partner with those different organizations and units within one Smithsonian means that we can bring the expertise together quickly, move fast to make sure that we're providing support on site in a way that helps our Iraqi partners. We're forging relationships between Americans and Iraqis that will transcend this one project.
Our goal is to make the Iraqi Institute sustainable for the long term, so Iraq has a model for cultural heritage preservation around the region.